Hey guys, welcome to another fabulous Friday where we'll be doing another worship breakdown. Thank you guys for joining me, and let's worship together.
Peace, bring it all to peace. Storm surrounding me, let it rain. As your name still, call the seas to still, rage in me to still every wave. At your name, in Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you breathe. Call these bones to live, call these lungs to sing once again. I will praise Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. You silence fear. In Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus.
So this week we're focusing on the song Tremble, an amazing song written by Mosaic. So let's dive into a song that they wrote. So we see in the beginning of the verses that they focus a lot on this idea of calming the storm. And if you don't know, that comes straight from the Bible. In Mark 4, Jesus calms the storm. He says in verse 35, that day when evening came, he said to the disciples, "Let us go over to the other side," leaving the crowd behind. They took him along just as he was, in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall, that being a storm, came up, and the waves broke over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." So this is early in Jesus' ministry. We see the power that he is capable of, the power that God is capable of to calm the storms, to stop the fear in our lives. We see that in this song we're calling out to Jesus. Jesus, bring us peace. Cause everything to be still. It's such a beautiful image and such a moment where the worshiper is put in a vulnerable situation, right? A vulnerable spot where he's admitting to God to come into his life, take away the fear, take away the darkness, and bring about peace in his life, right? So we're going through that. They reference Jesus calming the storms and asking Jesus to calm the storms in their own life. But when I looked and did some research on this song, I found out from Mosaic themselves that the verse they focused on most was Psalms 97:4. And pull a verse straight out of a song, right, to make another song. Pretty cool. The verse itself says, "His lightning lights up the world, the earth sees and trembles." So it compares God to lightning in Psalms. His lightning lights up the world and the whole earth trembles. Just like the song, God takes away the darkness and causes it to tremble, right? Lightning comes down and the whole earth trembles. Really a beautiful image to see God as this powerful force of light that comes down and lights up the entire earth, right? Have you ever been in a lightning storm and watched that flash of light come? And it just feels like a second of a giant, bright star, just like filling the entire sky with light. How cool that is that God can do that in a second. I think what I want to focus on most, though, in this verse is not only God's power to do things in our life, his power to bring lightness and darkness, and his power to cause fear, but are we actually giving him the chance to do that? In a moment, God can change everything in your life. But sometimes we can hold on to the things that we want to be in control of that might not be so great for us, that might cause fear in our life, that might be the darkness or temptation that stop us from getting deeper with God's relationship. Back to Mark 4, in the storm, right away Jesus says, after they wake him, "Do you not have faith? Do you not have faith that I can get you to the other side of this lake during this storm? Do you not understand my power, the miracles I've already shown you, the amazement that I bring, and yet you doubt that I can't get us through the storm. And how often do we doubt God? We go through a storm of life. We go through the hardships, the darkness, the fear that comes upon us, and we don't give it to God. We don't trust in Him to get us through it. We don't rely on Jesus to bring about that giant light in our life. That's my challenge for you guys this week, is to have faith through the storm. We're in a crazy situation of life right now. Some would call it a storm. And Jesus is bringing us through it, even if we don't see it. God is in the stern of our boat. He is getting us along the journey and keeping us safe throughout all of this. Continue to give things to God. Continue to have faith in Him, even through the crazy times, even through the darkness, because God will take that fear away. He is the lightning bolt to our darkness, the bright light that comes in and just eliminates all the fear and scariness of life. After the chorus, Mosaic sings about worship. All we can do is worship. God, you gave us these lungs. God, you gave us this air. Let us sing your praises. During this time of craziness, let us sing God's praises. There's no one more important than Jesus, so let's praise Him.
Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. And Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. In Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, in Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, silence fear. In Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus.
Going back to worship, I talked a little bit about worshiping in a different way, of listening to God. Being in God's midst is a way to worship Him. Understand His creation and the beauty of it, and let that be your worship. This week, I want to change it up a little bit. Another form of worship is giving God the things we want to hold on to, surrendering our lives to Him. It doesn't have to be through song. Worship can be a sacrifice, a surrender of the things that we have in our life, the fear, the darkness, the temptation, all that, giving it to God is worship. So worship God this week in a different way. Sing to Him, of course. Give Him praises for His beauty and His power and the lightning bolt that He is. But also worship in a way by surrendering completely to Him, and He will bring you peace. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Continue to worship God and His creation, and continue to surrender everything to Him and find peace in God through this interesting and crazy time. I love you guys. Have a great week.